So what's this little lip for on our throttle handle? Well, we just finished making our prototype carbon fiber throttle handle. And I'm going to jump in the airplane right now and tell you what this thing is all about. Let's go ahead and get started. So we want to take a minute and show you the prototype throttle handle that we finally got installed on the aircraft. So this is carbon fiber with an aluminum insert. We're going to show you how we make that in a minute. But I want to talk about why this concept and what we're trying to do. I've had a bunch of these Cubs, and one thing I always know is I like to find a way that when I'm taking off that it's easy for me to get to my numbers without needing to think about it or needing to keep a look and stuff. And I just kind of don't like the little ball. I mean, some people it's cool because you can hold it all on it, but the concept of this here is you've got this nice flat spot here that can be adjusted. So when we take off and I'm looking forward, I can just grab both pieces just like this and just come back, get to 24, and I let go. Now, this can be adjusted. So if you're 24, 24, 25, 25 is maybe at this point, you can adjust this so then it actually stops at that point and you're at 25 squared. So that's the concept, but I also just like the feeling. I like the feeling of grabbing a throttle like this as opposed to the little ball. Now, everybody has their own different opinions and stuff, but this just seems to work really well. And like I said, this can be adjusted, it can be moved, and I think we're gonna change this a little bit, and we're gonna extend the little lip here just a bit more so that it just grabs nicely and come back. Okay, so we went through a lot of iterations on this throttle handle, and we got to where we think it's pretty good. But we want to make a little bit of the changes to it. Let us first show you how we made these by creating 3D printed prototypes in carbon fiber infused PP that we're able to wrap with carbon fiber. And then we're going to show you how it actually evolved from there. So let's head in the hangar and check it out. It's just mesmerizing. All right, hey everybody, I'm back. So let's talk about our Prusa printer and how we make these parts. This is the A version, I should say, the alpha version, the first one that we did as a prototype. Carbon fiber, as you can see. And how we do these with our printer, and I'll talk about some of the other stuff we do in the printer, is the first thing we did is we made a shell with the 3D printer. So this is the Prusa printer. This is the CORE One L. You got the L, and then you got the larger one with the 5 heads. But let me walk you through the progression. So the first thing we have is like a shell like this. So we'll make a prototype. This one I stopped halfway through the print so you can see the prototype. The prototype is, this is a 2 mil wall. This is a 4 mil wall in carbon fiber infused. And then this is PLA, 6 mil wall with an infill in it. So this is the 30% infill. We could go even higher, like 50, 80% infill makes these really hard. So you can see this is PLA, very flexible, good for prototyping, and we're gonna wrap. Then we go to carbon fiber, which is much harder. It's carbon fiber infused, but still I can feel that. But then if I went to carbon fiber 6 mil, there is no way you could see, you can't even move that. So that's kind of how we decide what we're going to do. Now there's a lot of parts that we're just going to make it as a carbon fiber infused PP in our Prusa machine. Now the reason I'm talking about the Prusa when we're doing carbon fiber infused is because you need to have a machine like this level, with a heated chamber, with a hardened end, like a hardened stainless steel end, not copper, because if you're printing carbon fiber infused materials through here, it'll just eat up those cheap machines and those cheap heads like brass heads. So you really got to have something like this that can get really high temps, that can have a chamber that gets really hot, and a really good heated bed. So printing carbon fiber infused materials is a little bit more difficult to do. That's why we upgraded to the Prusa, and the Prusa has been awesome. Not to mention, watch how fast that is. It's a really fast machine. So in this case, we did a shell. From the shell, we're gonna wrap it, which we'll start in a minute. But I'll show you like some of the other parts. Like if you go watch our video on our MOLLE panels, there's a MOLLE system that goes in the airplane. You can see you've got MOLLE blocks that are attached inside the airplane. Here's some more hooks that we print in this. This is, you can see another piece here. This is like the carbon fibers you can see in the back side of it. We kept the piece where we peeled this off, but you can actually see the fibers inside of this hook. These are strong. These are really strong and really light. So we have this hook for our lift helmet, And so when we're getting out of the plane, we can drop our helmet on here. It's out of the way when we're getting in and out of the plane. Now we're going to change this to not do carbon fiber. The reason is this piece here is usually right up in front of where you're flying. So you can put your helmet or your headsets or something on it, but I want this to break away. I don't want this to be too strong, because if you have an issue and your head comes forward even with a helmet on, or if you don't have a helmet on, I don't want this to be that hard like it is with carbon fiber. So we're going to reprint it with a PLA, and we're going to have it designed where right inside this area is almost like a shear pin or a breakaway. It'll be designed right into our CAD drawing. So that if something happened and my head did hit it or you go forward, it'll just break off right here. Then we just come over to our Prusa machine, print another one if we really had to. So this one is going to change from carbon fiber to PLA. You can see we got some hooks and things here that we make. So once we design these and from a CAD standpoint, it's just really easy to just send the file over to the Prusa printer, print a new piece, or print some prototypes and things like that, and then we're good to go. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead, now that you see the process, we're going to head out over to the shop now, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap. Now we're going to wrap one of these. So we've got a small PLA that we're going to wrap with carbon fiber. So let's head out to the shop and go ahead and do that. Hey buddy, so we're replacing the throttle handle in the Carbon Cub. So this was the one we had in there, and of course we made this one. This one was the all aluminum one that we created, but this thing's a pound. So in this build, we need things to be light. So we're replacing a whole bunch of parts with carbon fiber. You know, this alone, along with 5 or 6 other parts, we know that's just 6 pounds just by itself. So we're getting rid of some of those. We're going to carbon fiber. So this is the mold that we built with our 3D printer. And right now, after we do that, we have to sand it down, get it rough and get it smooth so that we can lay the carbon fiber. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some aircraft aluminum like we had on this handle. We've got some bar back there that's the same size as this, but in aluminum. This is brass, so it's 1.5 inches, but we got to take it down to the point where we can insert it into this mold. And we're going to probably insert it about 1/2 inch, and then we need to have it step up a little bit so that when the carbon fiber lays on it, the carbon fiber will even to this handle. So we're going to go over the lathe and we're going to take this down so that it'll fit inside here and still have enough room on the outside, so when the carbon fiber lays on this right here, that it'll be even with the end of the handle. Because basically we want to create this look and feel on the end of the carbon fiber piece. So one thing I got to check before we go over to the lathe is I think this is a 1/4 20. So we got our thread checker here, and that's not it. Yeah, so it is actually a 1/4 20 that's on the Carbon Cubs. So we're going to sand this down more, and then we'll head over to the lathe and make the insert. See you in a few minutes. Okay, so basically we're going to take this piece of 1.5 inches and we're going to kind of step it down like we did on this piece here. So the step down piece will go inside this piece here, and then we'll also have another step down here where the carbon fiber is going to lay on it. Then we'll have a nice aluminum piece that we'll screw into on the Carbon Cub. So first thing I'm doing is I'm using the 4-chuck on this one, and we're leveled up, so we got that set. Get that out of the way, and we're going to put our center hole in first. So I'm going to actually go ahead and get the screw hole in there for our tap, because we're going to use our tap to get the 1/4 20 in, but I'm going to go ahead and make the screw hole now. All right, so we got it ground down where we need it, where this slides on perfectly. See how nice and tight that is? That's perfect there. But what I'm finding out is this needs to be bigger. I don't have any bigger stock. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to take this down just a little bit so it's even with the mold. and then we're going to let the carbon fiber go over everything, and then it'll just be all carbon fiber, so we won't have that look of the aluminum on the end, which actually might be pretty cool and nice anyway. So we're going to take this down just a little bit so it's even when the carbon fiber goes over it and there's no ledge there. And so we'll just have a little bit on the side here. We'll probably end up cutting this back. So this piece will end up probably being only about this big. And then we're gonna just groove this a little bit. And that is so that when this is on here and the carbon fiber goes on it, it'll grab it and make this all tight. So we're gonna do what's called knurling. So we're gonna use this here, these little knurling wheels, and it'll go on to here. And it's just gonna put a little bit of grooves into here. So when the carbon fiber comes on, it's just gonna grab it. So let's go ahead, we'll take this down a little bit, and then we'll see you in a minute. All right, so all I did was I just want to rough this up. I'm going to cut it, but I just want a little bit of a roughness here for the carbon fiber to grab it. So that's what I did there, and then I'm probably going to cut this back a little bit. But now I'm going to cut this off, and we'll finish the piece up. So here's the piece finished. We got it off the lathe, all ready to go, and it fits perfect. Look at this. All right, that's it. And this is gonna get epoxied into this here, and then we'll carbon fiber next, the whole thing. We're just gonna skin it. And then this is the 1/4 that gets put onto the throttle inside the aircraft. And then this one will be ready to go. And what a difference that'll be, look at. And this thing's pretty light. So big difference in weight. Now let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped. So we're about to lay the first piece of fiberglass on the throttle. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a layer of resin onto the throttle here. Just nice and smooth. And then you gotta probably give it about an hour for it to get to a point where it's tacky. When I have my gloves on, I can show you how we could tell it's tacky. So we'll get the resin on here, we gotta wait an hour, and then we're gonna lay the first carbon fiber on it. Now this is a really strange shape. So we just got to figure out how we're going to clip away and kind of mold it and put a seam way under here so you can't really see it. You're not going to be able to feel it because after the layers of carbon fiber on there, we're going to go back with a couple layers of resin, and then we sand it and get it nice and smooth. So we really want to get the main area just looking really smooth. So I got some acetone. I cleaned up this piece. It's already smooth and roughed up in the way we need it to be able to get the carbon fiber to stick. So now we're just going to mix up our resin and get going on this. So we're going to go ahead and get our resin on here, but remember, like I said, you want to take your brush and always just make sure that none of the bristles are coming out of it. I've been mixing this for a couple of minutes. Now, the key thing here too is you want to have all your stuff cut and ready to go. And then also we have our bag ready to go. I'm going to do an envelope. I'm going to vacuum bag this. Once we get a couple layers on, we're going to vacuum bag it. And then I want to have that ready to go because you don't want to be making the bag and stuff while this stuff's drying on you. So as soon as I get these layers on, it's going in the vacuum bag and we'll get that vacuum. So this should be pretty good to go. We're gonna get our first layer on here, and then like I said, we want it to get tacky. So here we go with the first layer. So all we're doing is laying it on nice and smooth, nothing crazy. You don't need to be thick. It just needs to be a place for the carbon fiber to stick to when we lay it down. Now I'm gonna probably let a little bit of the carbon fiber hang down below here, and because we're gonna cut it after and sand it and make it all look nice. So, and I just let it drip. I mean, that's the whole reason that we put it on this wood and on the plastic is just let it drip out. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna let it go for a while. It's gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour to get it to a point where we can, basically we wanna be able to touch it. You could see a little bit of it being gray, but it's not stuck to the glove. So that's what we're gonna kind of shoot for. And then once that's ready, we're gonna lay the fiber on top of it, have to cut it a little bit, manipulate it, and then that'll be our first layer, and we'll put some more on. Be back in a minute. We have the resin on the 3D molded piece, and that's just drying. It's going to take about an hour, and then we're going to lay the fiberglass on. But I've got all my vacuum bagging material ready, so I'm going to do an envelope vacuum on this. So basically, it's the vacuum bag that's folded over. I've got my gum tape here on two sides, and then what we'll do is when we put the part in there, then all I have to do is rip off the last piece, seal that up. We'll put our adapter on it, so this will be in the bag, and then we put a hole in there, and then this screws in from the inside. This is the vacuum receptacle, so that'll be in there like that. What we're going to do on this is we're going to put some peel ply. After we lay a couple more layers of carbon fiber on here, we're going to put some peel ply on there, and then we have our felt material that allows the air to pull all the resin out and suck this all tight. Normally I wouldn't have to do this with the peel ply and stuff like that if we're just doing a wet lay on it, but I want it to be as light as possible, so I want this to suck out all the extra resin out of the piece into this cloth. Then we'll peel that all off, and then the downside to the peel ply is it's going to make this look very almost like a matte finish, so to speak. But the point is I want it really light, because then we're going to lay our finishing layers of resin on there, sand it, polish it, and make it look real nice. So got everything here ready to go, so when that's dry we can kind of move on. All right guys, so I'm going to go ahead, and this is tacky now, the first layer we put on there, the base layer, and we're just going to lay the first piece of carbon fiber on here. I got a couple more cut ready to go, and this is going to be an odd shape. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it. We're just going to have to work it. Got to snip a few areas and try to get a butt joint in the back side here and things, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot now. Carbon fiber is really delicate, and of course we want this whole area to be the main area that looks good, coming down the top side here. So I'm going to have to get in here and start snipping. All right guys, so we got that piece done, which was a bear, and got it into the vacuum bag here. Gonna go ahead and start this up. Make sure it's pulling into all the little crevices. All right, so we're gonna let that stay for 6 hours. As it sucks in there, pulls all the resin out. I think we got it all into little nooks and crannies okay. All right, so we let our throttle handle sit in the vacuum all night long. So we've got at least 12 hours of vacuum on it. This is a prototype to see if we like this style and things. So, you know, we skipped a few steps. We didn't do what we were supposed to. I mean, we should have cut our carbon fiber and stuff first and really kind of get it all set to go before we put the carbon fiber on and did a couple layers. But all we did is we just wrapped it, put it in the bag. We just wanted to kind of see how it was going to go. But we're going to go ahead and open up and see what we got. I'm not expecting much from this because we really skipped a lot of steps. But at least we'll have our prototype. I can already feel the carbon fiber or the resin seeped out. So hopefully we can get it off with that peel ply on there. All right, everybody, so we got the peel ply off, and you know, it's rough right now, but it is sealed up. It's got a lot of the resin out of it. If you remember, we said we were gonna leave the fabric hanging down below. This is where it screws into, because we want to cut this off with the Dremel and sand this. We wanted to have the carbon fiber go right to the end, and then so we got to do some sanding on this piece, get it a little more shaped up, and then we'll start the finishing coats. But yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty light, and not bad for the first. Just wrapping it up. We didn't really do a lot of cosmetics to it, but good start for where we're trying to get to it. So we'll move on to getting this finished off, get a couple more coats of resin on there. All right, see you. All right, so we sanded down with rough sandpaper. I used a 250 and got the handle just kind of down to where it should be. You know, this is what it's going to be working like on the plane. So got that all down to that level. So now what we're going to do is we wiped it down with some acetone, got it all nice and clean, and we're going to put one coat of resin on here, because what we want to do now is start to smooth it out. So we're going to put one coat of resin on, give it an hour, put a second coat on, and then we're gonna let that dry overnight, and then we'll come back tomorrow, and then we're gonna start sanding it down. We'll probably go to a 400, an 800, a 1000, and then we'll get into some buffing and stuff like that to try to make it a mirror finish. So sometimes we'll either make a shell that we're gonna wrap, like we did this one, or sometimes we'll make the actual component. Like this one here is harder than this carbon fiber, because this is carbon fiber infused polypropylene. You can also have carbon fiber infused ABS, but these are really, really hard. So this is pretty strong, and it's as light as if we did carbon fiber. Now, the carbon fiber looks cooler, so, you know, that's why we wanted to go this route.